Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. In this quick little tutorial video, I'm going to show you how to configure your M1 and M2 buttons. And I'm going to show you just how I have them configured, so that way you can get a nice reference if you want to do the same exact configuration or you want to further tweak what I have. I'm going to also explain the different settings, so that way you will make an informative decision when you're making those changes, all in this video. Let's go ahead and get it started. If you ever wanted to know what an M1 or an M2 button is, this is the video for you. Now, these two buttons do not equal one thing. You can customize the M1 to whatever you want, and you can customize the M2 for whatever you want, or vice versa. Once you start the car, it's automatically going to default to efficient, comfort, and comfort. So efficient right there being your actual throttle response, comfort there for being your suspension, how stiff you want the suspension, and then steering, how responsive you want the actual steering. So that's going to default to just that. And the heads-up display is going to be the standard, just your mile per hour and like the speed limit sign. That's it. So just running through what I have configured on my end before I get in to show you actually how to change it. What I like to do is I like to automatically go to M1. I hit the M1 button on the steering wheel, and this is what I have pre-configured, and you can change these settings however you want to do them. This is in warm-up mode, right? The car's trying to warm up. I go from efficient to sport just to give it a little bit more throttle response, warming up. But I keep the suspension at comfort, and of course the steering at comfort itself. And once the car is fully warmed up, I'm ready to click my M2 option. I'm gonna click it and see it's gonna confirm my stability control. Now I have it set to that, and I'll show you more in detail once we get into the menu of the easy way to set this stuff up. But so I'm gonna hit M2, and I'm gonna hit M2 again. Now it puts everything in Sport Plus all the way across, and it puts MDM mode on, which will limit my stability control. Now, MDM stands for M Dynamic Mode. So once this is activated, the stabilizing interventions are really carried out in a reduced extent. There is a risk of accidents or risk of property damage because it is going to spin. Definitely going to spin to a certain extent. Versus if I didn't have MDM mode on and stability control fully on, then of course any kind of tire spin is going to cut the power way down. The problem is with the M5 is that you are going to spin the tires pretty easily. So just normal hard acceleration, you're going to really feel that power cut off. And it really takes the joy out of driving the car. Now, I definitely recommend keeping MDM mode off when you're getting onto this platform or any kind of M car, so that way you get used to how the car operates, how the power is delivered. Once you get fully comfortable with how it is administered, I guess to say, then by all means you're ready to step up to MDM, and you can have that reduced stability control. It works wonders, right? It will start spinning. Like for example, for me, with the tune on, the intake, and all that kind of stuff, it can easily start spinning at really 60 miles an hour. And I tell you what, once it starts spinning and MDM is not on, it just really cuts out the power pretty bad. It's pretty extensive. But with MDM on, of course, like activated, as you see here, it's spin at 60. Guess what? The car is still spinning the tires at 60 miles an hour. So you need to be able to control that. By all means, you need to make sure when you're ready. This is how I have M2 set up. Now, you can toggle back and forth, so you can hit M1. So here I just hit M1 on the steering wheel. I can hit M2. Every time you go back to M2, how I have it configured with MDM, you have to confirm that yes, you want to take stability control off, right? If you do not have MDM on, then every time you hit M1 or M2 or whatever, vice versa, you won't have to reconfirm this every single time. It's just a safety check from their part. So this is how I have it configured. So let's go ahead and move over to the navigation screen, and I can show you just how to set this up easily in this view. Now you can do this in different ways. You can actually do it from the screen here, which I'll show you this method. You can also do it from the controls down here. So this is where you can do your sensitivity of your shifting. You have, of course, your steering, which you just click that, and it goes through different menu options on the screen. suspension, same thing, and then right up here is the actual throttle response, and also the button to turn the traction fully off, go into MDM mode, do all the different ones. So you can do it there as well. What you have to do is go into the menu. So click in the menu here, settings, scroll all the way to the top, M-Drive 1 and M-Drive 2. So my M-Drive 1, the DSC is on, sport mode is on, comfort, and D2. So D2, this is where you can make the adjustments for the shift position, meaning 1 is efficient and smooth, 2 is dynamic shifting, and of course 3 is sport shifting. Is the D1, D2, and D3 is just how fast the shifts are gonna happen. So I have it on D2, and then the mode, this is just your automatic shifting. So you put it in sequential, and then of course you have to use the paddle shifters or the gear lever. Where you can make your changes at here. So we're just gonna keep it in drive, because that's just what I have configured on. M mode, this is where the M view is what I was showing you on the full text display or the default view. So of course I have the M view, looks so much better like that. This is like the standard heads up display. It just has your mile per hour and your speed limit sign. I have the full tack, and you have the mile per hour and also the speed limit sign. But in the middle, since I am in park, it will show the gear like right there in the middle, really big. So it makes it nice because you can easily see what gear you're in, obviously the RPM. DSC on, this is where I can go to MDM. So DSC on is the stability controls active. That's what I have on the first one there, my M1 button. MDM mode, of course, what I have on my M2 option, limited stability control. Driver is responsible for vehicle stability. And of course, full out, you want it completely off to have some fun, then it's completely off. So, you know, like what it says, stability control inactive, driver intervention is required. It starts spinning, you need to know how to drive a car with that. The MDM is just great because it will still slip and spin, but it is there to catch you, but it's limited, so you can still get out of control per se as far as the car, so just be careful. So this is where you'd make, you know, your changes from that perspective. Then you can go to your next button. This is what I have, what I was just showing you. Different options, just like when I mentioned about changing MDM, you can change that. And this is where you save everything. So if you want whatever you want your, you know, direct engine response, right? Sport or efficient, sport plus. This is where you make the changes at. Check mark those different ones. So let's say this is on sport plus. I want to make it to sport. Now I just change it on the screen from that side. Same thing, go back. I'm going to change it back to that. Then it's already saved. Everything's saved. Once you're done making the checks, just go out of the menu option, and then you can see everything still there. So that's how you would change everything on your M buttons, your M1 and M2, and then configure everything from that perspective and continue to make adjustments. Maybe you like certain settings at certain times. For example, if I drive over railroad tracks, I will automatically hit M1, right? Because the railroad tracks are pretty bumpy where I live. So of course I want the suspension and comfort, because in Sport Plus it's pretty stiff from that perspective. So just different things, and you just hit that right on the fly. And then as soon as you're done, right, let's say you drive over those tracks, and then you go back to M2. It's just, everything's very instant. As soon as you hit that button, it's an instant response from that side. Of course, you know, MDM on, Sport Plus, Sport Plus, Sport Plus. So I have a sequential 3, so the fastest shifts and manual only. So when I get into M2 mode, in my M2 mode, I'm full out, I'm controlling the car, and the shifts are beautiful. I mean, the DCT shifts wonderful in that regard. Or you can just reset all your options and start over if you get messed up or whatever. So once you do that and you configure that from that perspective, then that's it. If you find that you're making settings on your M car and they're not saving, go down to profiles. You need to make sure you have a profile selected. If you don't have a profile selected of anyone in here, then it won't save your actual settings. It just keeps reverting back to what the previous person had. So wherever you want to configure your buttons per se, M1 or M2, then by all means, it's tailored really to what you're trying to do with it. When you're clicking these buttons down here, which is the same thing here, you can just further change them from this perspective. This just, you know, if you need to just change them really quick, like on the fly, like, oh, quick, I want to just change this one. Just let it sit there for a second, and then it'll go ahead and save it on there. It just does it for quick changes. So if you need to quickly change your settings up for during your drive perspective, then that's that. But I highly recommend go ahead and saving your, you know, M1 or your M2 with your different options, of course, just like what I mentioned. All right, guys, well, that does it for today. Just a quick little tutorial of how to set up your M1 or M2 button. Fully customizable, really, to what settings that you want to do. If you have an M car or you're thinking about buying an M car, hopefully this video is informative for you, so that way, as soon as you get it, you can start playing around with the settings. Hopefully everyone has a great rest of your week. Big thumbs up on this quick tutorial video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Plenty of other M5 videos here on the channel, but also 450 plus videos on my 2008 335i that you see back there. Lots of great DIYs. I'm here to help, of course, make your life easier and to save you some money owning a BMW. Thanks again, guys, and I'll chat with you on the next video. Take care.